Anti-Trucker Guy. Hey, there's been some updates on what I've been doing here lately. Shoot, I just noticed looking up there on YouTube that I haven't really posted anything on YouTube because I started doing that Facebook Live stuff. But I haven't done anything on YouTube as far as, you know, the hair and tie trucker guy stuff goes. Way back since I worked with Prime. So no longer with Prime. I did do a stint there with another company, Hirschbach. You know, they do the whole lease purchase thing, and not a bad company, you know, to go and work for. Just like all companies, you know, you're gonna find good things about companies, and you're gonna find bad things about companies. Hey, that's the trucking lifestyle. That's the trucking industry. It's gonna happen. You cannot avoid it. But one of the things you can avoid is making bad choices. Like, say, drinking coffee. Coffee is so good. I love my coffee. And you know, I'm a big Star Wars fanatic. Have been since I went and saw the first Star Wars movie in the theater with my dad back in 1977. Boy, I was hooked. It was like Space Cowboys. Man, this is awesome. Because I loved growing up, just loved John Wayne. Loved John Wayne movies, still do. You know, the Cowboys was my favorite as a child. And I just love that movie. But anyways, all of a sudden you introduce space, Star Wars. So anyways, a shout out to everybody that's watched my channel. I'm back on, and I think I'm gonna do YouTube instead of the Facebook Live thing. You know, you try things. You try. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that Facebook Live was bad, but I like doing the whole, like, putting videos together. Yeah, let's put videos together. So, that being said, I've noticed that in the handbook here at Melton, when I was going through orientation, that they don't want us to show certain things, you know, or mention certain things. But that's just, you know, kind of covering your own tail in there. CYA, as a lot of people put it. But here's what I am gonna do. I'm not gonna show you guys securing loads and stuff, and I'm going to keep everything as, you know, as close to what we can and can't do. I'm not saying that I'm going to do anything illegal, because I'm not going to do anything illegal, because that's my license, and, you know, I don't want anybody to mess with my livelihood. But I'm going to give as much information as I can on Melton and the orientation, because I've noticed that there's not a whole lot out there. Not a whole lot out there. So that being said, let's get right into it. So day one orientation. Well, day one is just like any other orientation with all companies. They want to make sure that, one, you're healthy enough to do the job, two, that you're drug free, and then three, that you've got all of your paperwork done, and that number four, that you're applying the one thing that should be consistent across the board anytime you apply for a job, and that is, one, being honest on your application, and having the integrity to let them know if there's something wrong, because if you let them know that there's something wrong, they can tell you if that's okay, because you let us in on that, or that you divulge some information that that was pertinent, because there might be questions about something. Just because you got fired from a job, why did you get fired for that job? You know, what did you learn from, you know, being fired from that job? And I'll tell you what, if you've never been fired from a job, then you learn a lot. about being fired from a job. And you know, sometimes as innocent as you may think you are, there's still a learning objective there for that process. So remember, honesty. So that's what they look for. They look for you being honest, and then passing that drug test. Now when it comes to the drug test, it's not just I'm going to pee in a cup. No, they want to go back, and I can completely understand this for insurance purposes and whatnot, but they want to go back a year. So they do a hair follicle test, and they can take hair off of your hair, which, you know, I gave them some of my hair. I wish I wouldn't have, because I didn't know they're going to take that much shit. They took a lot of my hair in some spots there in the back. I'm kind of not liking that. I should have let them take it from my chest or my arm hair or my leg hair or something, but you know, they can definitely take it from different spots. I just had a really nice nurse, and she kind of talked me into it. You know, hey, I'm a sucker for that. I love me some coffee. Anyways, so that's basically day number one. You're going to spend half of that day just doing your drug test and your physical. And then you're going to go back and you're going to go through, you know, the history of the company, expectations and stuff for the company, and expectations of the job, why it's so dangerous doing flatbed. And it's because most of the time people get in a hurry, and that's when mistakes happen. They get in a hurry, they're not, you know, using 3 points of contact on a trailer, they jump off a trailer, you know, there's accidents can happen. And foremost, Melton wants you to be safe. I'm sure every company out there wants you to be safe. So that's a no-brainer right there. And then after that, you pretty much, they send you home with some homework. And you know, we got homework. The first day was homework in your Melton handbook, and so they did it kind of like in a fun way. So like we did, you know, in the classroom teaching and stuff, you know, we did a little scavenger hunt throughout the notebook to find certain things out. And then after that, we went back for day number 2. Day number 2. Day number 2 starts out with going over the handbook, you know, questions. And then, of course, everybody's favorite part, you know, your PPE, your personal protective equipment. And you have to either purchase it from them, or if you brought your own, then you know you have your own, but you need safety glasses, you need a hard hat, you need gloves. They have, you know, knee pads that you can buy, because at Melton it is a policy to not walk on your loads but to crawl on them, keep you from you know, tripping, falling. You can still fall even if you're crawling, but at least if you're crawling, think about it, you've got 4 points of contact instead of 2, which you'd only have if you were walking on the load. So just keep in mind, maintain that 3 points of contact, and you're going to be safe the majority of the time. Some things you just can't avoid, but anyways, there's that. And then you have some more paperwork, you know, trip planning, logbook stuff. They want to make sure that you're able to do a manual logbook entry versus the Qualcomm or the MCP 200 based e-logs, which they run. And then you get right into securement. You know, your basics of securement, which they're pretty easy, you know, to understand. They all make sense. You know, there are 4 types of movement. You know, first movement, forward and backward. Second type of movement, side to side. Third type of movement, up to down. And then your 4th type of movement is toppling, and toppling is for, you know, loads that are taller. So you got 4 basic movements that you have to understand, and then the only thing other than that when it comes to securing is you have 2 rules. If it's a multi-layer load, then you have to have 2 securements per layer, and you have to have a belly wrap. The belly wrap helps the load from going forward and backwards. It secures it from going forward and backwards. And then you have the 5-2 rule, which is on loads where the first 5 feet of the front of the load you have to have 2 securements, and then the last 5 feet of the load you have to have 2 securements. So there's your basics. You get those down, next thing you know, you're starting to go out and practice securement. You practice securement on flat steel, on the 3 types of coils: shotgun coil, you have your suicide coil, and then you have your eye to the sky. You do your multi-layer loads, and that's pretty much it for day number 2. Day number 3. Day number 3 is kind of like that day where you get there, you're practicing your securement, then we start tarping. And day number 3 is, you know, you learn how to fold a tarp, you learn how to put tarps on different types of loads. For instance, you learn how to put a tarp on, you know, say a lumber load or a high load. You learn how to put tarps and secure a tarp on your coils. And then there's more classroom work you got to do, and there's more videos that you have to watch, and progressively you watch videos from day 1, day 2, day 3, and so they give you kind of an insight into all the different aspects of the trucking industry, from the Smith system, which then you have to go through a course for Smith system, or a classroom Smith system course, and then on top of the videos, there's the videos for, you know, the type of engines that you have in your trucks, the Bendex, the forward radar that they have in their trucks, the APUs that they have in the trucks. So there's videos on the trucks themselves. There's videos on the securement of all the different materials that they haul. There's videos on weight distribution, and, you know, there's videos on welcome to the company, and this is what Melton's about, and pretty consistent throughout all of the videos about Melton is that they're more family based, and they stick to they have 12 principles that they stick to, and honesty and integrity are 2 of those principles, and I think that my personal perspective on the whole company as a whole is that that's something that kind of guides you through everything. I mean, you think about it, when it comes to communication, if you're honest about the communication between you and whoever, and it's well documented like you have to do anyways, then you're not going to have any problems. Are problems going to exist? Or are they going to you're going to be faced with problems? Yes, you are. Every single day. Welcome to trucking. But other than that, that's orientation in a nutshell. And then, of course, they have 2 different programs. One program for experienced people, which is 4 days, and one program which is 8 days for people that don't have experience in flatbed. So 4 days for people that have experience in flatbed, 8 days for the people that don't have experience in flatbed, and then you go out with a trainer for 21 days for the people that don't have any flatbed experience. You know, they go out for 21 days. So that's Melton in a nutshell. And like I said, I went through orientation in Tulsa, and the recruiters were really honest with everything. always asking me questions. Hey, do you have any questions about this? Do you have any questions about that? Every time I ask them a question, I actually got an answer to it. Same thing with the trainers. The trainers were that way as well. So, so far so good. I'm waiting to get a load, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.